My name is Lee Winawiki. Hi, Sarah. My name is Lee Winawiki. I'm a soil scientist and a global research lead of soil and land health at C4 Craft based in Nairobi. And in 2021, we co-founded the Coalition of Action for Soil Health. These events are supported by GIZ. They have been leading soil health programming at the ministerial level down to the farmer in multiple countries, and they wanted to make sure that soil health is on the agenda at this COP. So we're really proud of that. So today, we're going to talk about the Rio Conventions. We also have the UN Food Systems Summit here, and some people, like Joachim von Braun, like to say we have 4 conventions: UNCCD, CBD, climate change, and food systems. Yeah, so I'm really excited to bring that together. And we have an amazing panel today, as you can see. I just want to remind us of the objectives. So we want to demonstrate and hopefully convince you that soil health is central to achieving these 3 Rio Conventions and food systems. So how many people think soil health is central now? Okay, and then at the end, everyone will have their hand up. We want to promote policy coherence. We really need to find the thread across these Rio Conventions, right? Policy coherence in NDCs, NBSAPs, LDN. We also want to showcase inclusive evidence-based approaches. I think you heard me say I'm a scientist. Let's make sure that we're doing evidence-based decision-making. And then let's see if we can co-develop some practical evidence-based recommendations. So, we're going to have a couple panels. So you're on the second panel, Andrea, so just enjoy take your jacket off, enjoy the breeze. So I'm really excited to invite up my first panel. So, and we have a new panelist. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Wangu, please take your seat. Khaled, and Mahathi, and Pamusa. Yeah, and please let's clap for them. Excellent. Now, I'm sure you've seen that we have a mic situation. There may be one. Yes, thank you, Wangu. So, and then I'm just going to sweep this. Okay, great. So, I really want us to focus on action-oriented, short, concise interventions, please. Okay, so this panel is very much going to talk about aligning the Rio Conventions, and I don't know, what do we call Food System Summit? Another kind of convention convening. So Wangu, let's start with you. And please introduce yourself and your whole titles, and you don't turn it on, it's already on. If you push it up, it'll be on. Okay. So please just tell us about what Ambition Loop is doing, how we can really do better at collaboration, and also what are some key messages? We can't have long sentences. We need key messages. Soil health on the agenda. Soil health is a climate solution. Go ahead, Wangu.
Hello, everybody. My name is Wango Mwangi. I work with Ambition Loop. For those of you that were here in the previous session, my colleague Nico was talking about bioeconomy. Okay. Was talking about our work on bioeconomy. So Ambition Loop is an NGO based in Santiago, Chile. It's a global NGO that was started by UN high-level climate champions, Nigel Topping and Gonzalo Munoz. And we are organized around loops. So I work with the Land and Soil Loop, and we specifically work with the UN Convention to Combat Desertification specifically, and the Riyadh Action Agenda, which was set up by the presidency of the 16th Conference of the Parties last December. So what we try and do is to unpack some of the big global targets that we have. For instance, restoring 1.5 billion hectares of soil, of land. So you see, you have totally brainwashed me, like I'm saying soil. So how do you, at the local level, at the national level, how do you sort of get meaningful targets? Now, this theme of today's session about the Rio Convention synergies, I think, is at the heart of that. So although a lot of our work is aligned to the work of the UNCCD and on land, but you cannot achieve climate targets, you cannot achieve biodiversity targets, food system targets without looking at land and soil. So what I believe is a very practical entry point, for instance, is the land degradation neutrality target of the UNCCD. Is how do you ensure, like, for instance, soil organic carbon as a sort of indicator is used for reporting across all three conventions? How do you ensure, for instance, that if you have a landscape level project or ecosystem level project, that you bundle agricultural, like land restoration goals with agricultural biodiversity goals, with water resilience, and all these actions. So in the previous session, we were talking about support to smallholder farmers. So how, when you train farmers at the local level, don't just train them on how to produce food, how to produce enough food, but how do you do that in a sustainable way so that you also protect your soil? And then how do you then get the reporting for all three Rio Conventions to report on these actions? So it's not just about agriculture or food, but it's also about climate. It's a climate solution. It's a biodiversity solution. So at the national level, I think we really have to start to see bundling of reporting for all three Rio Conventions, but guided by this sort of land, farm level or ecosystem level, landscape level indicators. So in a nutshell, that's what I would say. And just one final thing, because in December, Panama is hosting the UNCCD, CRIC, the Committee for the Review of the Convention. And Panama is really becoming an example of a country that is actually looking to this synergistic reporting under the three Rio Conventions. So it's a great example, and really hope that after Panama that we'll have much more concrete information about that. Thank you.
And we will be launching our policy brief at CRIC in Panama on soil health central to the Rio Convention. So I'll just plug that in there. Thanks, Wangu. I'm glad I brainwashed you. Awesome. Pamusa, I'll give you okay. Please introduce yourself and all of your titles. And also, we're really happy to have you here. As we said, GIZ is such a great supporter of soil health, and we really want to hear about what you've been doing in Burkina Faso and how you see even the Rio Conventions. Does it relate on the ground, or is this just something that we talk about up here? So over to you. Are you going to speak in French or English?
I will try in English.
I think anglais. Let's do anglais.
So let me try in English. Why not? Thank you for inviting Burkina Faso to this important panel. And we want to talk about alignment of Rio Convention. In my country, as you know, we are a silent country. So talking about soil health is a key priority for our country, as you know. So in my country, conveying that is very good for synergy to align the Rio Convention. The permanent secretary of the National Council is what can I say? Is the office that work with the three convention, as you know, and also one of the convention on wetlands. So because we are conveying that we have to make synergy with this convention in Rio Convention, and also we have an institutional framework to work to align the Rio Convention in our countries. And as you know, we are in the political issues, so we draw policies for our countries. So in this way, we have in Synergy Action one of the governance tools that we call the National Conference for Sustainable Development, and also the unique consultation framework for environmental convention that we make all the stakeholders together to discuss, to look for how to go ahead to bring alignment of the Rio Convention. And also one of a platform in our country relating to sustainable development and sustainable land management that go ahead with all stakeholders in the countries. And what I want to add is to say that we have also policies regarding to agroecology. So we have a national strategy on agroecology and also a national strategy on soil conservation. So at political level, we made this strategy to be sure that in livestock, agriculture, energy, and forestry, we can work together to be sure that the key priority, which is the soil health, can be go ahead for developing, to be sure that all things go, like we need. Yeah, my English is not clear, but I try to explain. Thank you very much.
Okay, so your English is better than my English. And thank you so much for bringing in policy because, as you know, I'm based in Nairobi and we have a continental commitment. 55 member states across the continent of Africa have committed to the Soil Health Action Plan, and Burkina Faso is definitely leading, so thank you. So we talked about food systems, we talked about opportunities to improve soil health, so I think it's absolutely perfect, Khaled, for you to come in and really just talk about UN Food Systems Summit, the coalitions, but also how we can use these levers, these 3 Rio Conventions plus, to raise awareness, but have action on the ground. Please go ahead and use your full title.
Yes. No, thank you so much. So my name is Khaled El Tawil. I'm the Senior Program Coordinator of the Food Systems Hub. I'm based in Rome in FAO. And let me start first by congratulating you on suggesting a very relevant topic. The Coalition for Soil Health is one of 20 coalitions that we have in the hub, but I believe it is one of the most active. So this is something that, and this is something very useful for the hub because we work through the ecosystem of support. It is really helpful to us when we have coalitions that can bring forward these topics as a priority. So coming to the 3 Rio Convention, the Food Systems Hub, the Food Systems Summit, is not a convention, but our role is to link the conventions together. And in the last summit in July in Addis Ababa, the Food Systems Summit, the main message is that we cannot deal with the conventions in a separate way. So we have different objectives, but are connected. Food security, we have the food systems which are not delivering. We have hunger that is very high, malnutrition is very high. We have erosion of soil. We have also desertification. We have loss of biodiversity, and all are connected. We believe that food system can be part of the solution. So this is what we advocate for. How can we use food systems as a way of connecting solutions in the 3 Rio Conventions? This is why we are participating in COP, we are participating in UNCCD, and we are participating as well in the biodiversity COP. So 95% of our food is produced by soil. Soil is also the first barrier toward desertification. Almost 1/4 of all species live in soil. So this is really a very important connecting factor. We are working with countries. We have a network of what is called national conveners. I think in Burkina Faso and then other countries, they are now championing this systemic approach, connecting food system with climate, with biodiversity. And through the Food Systems Hub, we are implementing what is called the Food System Convergence Initiative. So food system cannot, the policies of food system need to be connected with biodiversity, with nutrition, with health considerations, and with climate action policies. So in 20 countries so far, we are implementing the Convergence Initiative. Somalia is coming next, but we implemented in Brazil, in Cameroon, in Egypt, in Indonesia. And the idea is to have a kind of blueprint, a roadmap for countries in order to identify what kind of policies they need to take, what kind of milestones, and how to monitor this. And these blueprints are already published now. It is like the roadmap for countries to implement and to connect the 3 Rio Convention. We count on support of coalitions, but we count also on the national conveners who are really doing a very good work on this. But coming to the challenges, we have a lot of challenges still. It is not only about awareness, but it's also about financing and technology and innovation. And the hub is also trying to connect the policy makers at the national level with private sector through what we call corporate accountability, making sure that the private sector can contribute in a positive way to to achieve positive impact on climate and biodiversity, but also we are connecting it with science and innovation, making sure that our soil continue to function in a way that supports better food security and better nutrition. Stop it. Thank you.
I think that's quotable. Our soils need to function and have their full potential. I think that's actually brilliant. And thank you so much for recognizing the coalitions and the national conveners in each country. This is really important. So, Mahati, I'm so happy you're here. I know you're not going to represent all youth, but I know you are going to maybe talk about your work in the UNCCD Youth Caucus, Save Soil, and anything else you want to talk about. Mahati, over to you.
Thank you so much, Lee. Hi, I'm Mahati. I am on the steering committee of the UNCCD Youth Caucus. I lead the food and agriculture thematic. I'm also a policy researcher at Save Soil. So I think a lot of what I'm going to say is from a youth and policy perspective. The word I like to sort of use to describe soil between the Rio Conventions, I feel it's sort of a connective tissue between all of them. It impacts emissions, it impacts the food that we eat, biodiversity, and just a lot of other things. But right now it's very invisible in any conversation we have in most of these conventions, most of the policy talks we have, especially if you look at the NDCs. We just concluded an analysis of all the NDCs which have been submitted this year, and over 70% don't even mention the word soil, and none of them mention any quantifiable targets for soil health. So if we're not going to measure something, we can't have any implementation plans to make it better. We can't have finance flowing towards it. So I think step number one is to include some kind of quantifiable targets in all of these conventions, especially the NDCs and NAPs to begin with. Even at the UNCBD, soil is maybe looked at as a resource and not really as a biodiversity system. The soil underneath our feet has millions of microbes which are dying. We are losing a huge part of biodiversity under our feet, but we need a measurement system to actually see what's happening there and make it mandatory for countries to sort of track it and push finance towards it. I think the closest we get to actually measuring it is in UNCCD LDN targets, where soil organic carbon is measured. So I think step number one for me is to have a common sort of monitoring backbone for soil health, which can feed into each of these conventions and again not work in silos. So that's, I think, one clear recommendation that I can propose as a youth and as part of UNCCD. So that's my one bit. And following that, I think it's important to have some kind of blended finance models. If in the next even 1 year or 2 years, if you can have one project focusing on soil health, on these metrics, and just to show that improving soil will affect goals of all these conventions, I think that itself is evidence and proof enough to sort of take it to the next level, let's say in the next 5-6 years. Thank you.
And I love that the youth is the one who brought up data, monitoring, the need for indicators. Absolutely fantastic. We're going to transition, but I want to give each one of you one word. Okay? You're just going to say one word. We're going to construct a virtual, verbal word cloud. What would be your wish, your hope? What does it take to really get soil health recognized as central to the conventions? You can hyphenate, Pamusa, if you need to. So we're going to go quick. One word.
One word, maybe synergy.
Ooh, good. Khalid. Synergy.
I would say innovation.
Innovation. Mahati.
I think acknowledgement.
Acknowledgement. Wangu.
Joint monitoring.
Woo! Awesome. Thank you. We are going to take questions, but I want to bring up a few more voices. So let's thank our panelists as they go to their chairs. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Oh, I don't hear it. Come on. Yeah. And we're doing a small change up here. Andrea is now going to give closing remarks. So I'd like to invite Perrine, Mohammed, Pamusa, you're not coming back here, and Rosina. Come to the panel. All right, so, yep, and then Rosina in the center. So what I'd like to focus this on, so how many soil scientists are in the room? Do we have no soil scientists? 2? Awesome. This is great because the big goal of the Coalition of Action for Soil Health is to reach beyond the choir, to reach beyond the people who love soils. So this is fantastic. I think we're doing it. In fact, I'm feeling lonely. So this panel is about practitioners. We had experts from the conventions. I want to hear practitioners who are not soil scientists, but I hope soil lovers. So Perrine, you have the mic. I'm really happy you're here. Norwegian Refugee Council. I would really like you to share examples from your work on land rights, tenure security. We heard it. How it underpins soil stewardship. Thank you so much. And I'm going to sit next to you.
Oh, welcome. Hi, everyone. Thanks a lot, Lee. And yes, I am a soil lover, but I'm a very recent conversion because I started realizing how soil health is important to health and resilience, thanks to Lee and her colleagues at C4A Craft. So I am a practitioner of community-led resilience in Somalia, and I've been working on drought resilience for a few years with some of the colleagues from the Somali government in the room. We sometimes really struggle when we face these very regular cycles of drought and flooding that generate a lot of humanitarian needs, displacement, tragedies, but also ecosystem failure, like the economy is destroyed, livelihoods goes away and doesn't come back. So we were really hard thinking, what is it that's going to improve the situation in these very dry lands that are also exposed to conflict, to very dynamic governance mechanisms between the traditional, the government, between the conflict and other dynamics. And that's at the root of all of these issues. Yes, there is a question of ecosystem degradation. And in Somalia, this cycle of flood and drought that is very, very accelerated. It happens continuously and all the time. It washes your soil away. Water doesn't go to the water table anymore. Biodiversity disappears. The grasses that the livestock used to rely on are gone and nowhere to be found again. And all of that ties back into soil health. And just last week, I was in Baidoa. And we visited a very interesting farmer community. And outside of the city, Baidoa is a huge hub for displacement, hosts a lot of internal displaced in Somalia, and used to be in this area the breadbasket of Somalia with a lot of food staples that were produced. But now, because largely of the droughts, there's very limited production. So we were talking to this farmer, and it's a community with which we've worked on soil regeneration, ecosystem regeneration. We've done earthwork, we've done water catchments, we've done biodiversity reintegration. And the farmer they were harvesting, and they were excited about the progress that they had made in just 1 year. They had harvested already a few times. They were planting different vegetables, but also maize. And they told us, when you guys came in, we were at the point of selling the land. So that's the link to land tenure that we were thinking about. So these communities have had a communal use of land for farming or for livestock. But they're at the point where they see a soil that is just dirt at that point. And it's year after year, they try to plant, but they don't harvest. And they despair, and then they just think, okay, the only thing we have left is these 2, 3, 4 hectares. We're going to sell them and move away. And we came in just before they did, and that's what it was telling us, and that was really so relevant for us, because we're like, okay, at least they've held on to their land. The dirt is now soil, is not as healthy as it could be. It's still on its way. It will take a little bit more time to be as fertile as it could be and as healthy as it could be. And thanks to the Ministry of Environment in Baidoa and the champions in the ministry, we have continuous technical backstopping for these communities. They're being visited by people who on a monthly basis tell them, oh, now you're at that stage, this is what we could do next. That's how we can help. And they also link up with institutions like ICRAF or others that can talk about different grasses, or maybe this type of grass would be great for that location, or maybe this tree would help restore the soil health. So it's work in progress. We do have an issue with people displacing because of these different dynamics and leaving behind land that is then becoming unproductive or sometimes grabbed by private sector that will then use pesticides and fertilizers and continue sort of destroying the soil health until it's really maybe even more disrupted. And the fact that it's possible practically with communities, with low-cost technologies to revert the process, I think that's been very, very enabling and hopeful for all of us. So yeah, to soil health.
So I just want to acknowledge that we're talking about very dry areas, conflict, really areas that people are wanting to leave land, and we're able to work with support of the government, with support of the communities, with support of Norwegian Refugee Council, all the partners in BRICS. That is a real story. That was really powerful. Thank you. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Rosina, who's the newest member of the Coalition of Action for Soil Health. Pelham just signed their form yesterday. Big warm welcome. So we're like, you have to get you on a panel. This is what happens when you're in the coalition. No warning. So please share some experiences with Pelham, maybe ground us in a particular area. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here. Indeed, we are new members of the coalition, but not new to the soil aspect or the topic of soil. I represent Pelham Kenya, which is an umbrella network of 69 organizations in Kenya, and we are in all the 47 counties of Kenya, reaching over 1 million small-scale farmers and pastoral communities. And our work majorly is to promote agroecological principles and the practices. We believe and we are aware that the challenges that we are all facing, the triple climate crisis, the biodiversity loss, the degradation, the aspect of food systems being at a crossroads, agroecology provides an answer, because if you look at all the challenges that we are talking about, climate change worsens the food system, the degradation worsens the food system, issues of desertification worsens the food systems, issues of biodiversity loss worsens the food system, but at the same time the agroecology as a solution, or it cuts across the three aspects. It's agroecology that ideally soil gives the second largest potential sinker of the carbon sink after oceans. It is the soil that we are talking about, and it's agricultural soils provide a big platform for us to sink this carbon on the soil. So it provides that solution for climate. If you look at degradation, again, we are talking about systems like agroforestry, which are really enabling us to revert the issues of desertification and so on. If you look at the issues of biodiversity loss, in agroecology, we are conserving biodiversity and ensuring that we are not losing more. So as a network, what are we doing? We are at the front of ensuring the policies are aligned, because one of the biggest gaps in this discussion is policies. Actually, we are here in the COP, another COP, but the decisions that we are making, how are they aligning themselves to the issues of the three Rio Conventions? Actually, there should be one convention, if I'm asked. It should be one, and then because if we continue to work in silos and in sectors, we are not going to make it. All these things are connected. So the policy and advocacy in Kenya, we have now the National Agroecology Strategy, which was just launched last year, and it looks at all these matters and how the food systems are addressing. The second issue that we are looking at is capacity building, because we believe that knowledge is a continuous process, and we have a network of farmers who have been skilled and they are practicing agroecological practices. They are doing neat on farm. And with that, we are able to multiply. We have a project with which is the Knowledge Centers for Organic Agriculture, where we have 7 master trainers on different topics. And those master trainers, they train multipliers, and the multipliers are able to train farmers. And that way we have seen scaling up of best practices in soil. For instance, in Kenya, we have biofertilizers like the bokashi, which is now even being packaged by some of the private actors. We have the BCF, the black soldier fly, which is also becoming a very good case study for private sector and also at farm level. So we are even moving from the aspect of people saying agroecology is for, it's not a viable business. It's scalable. It's for everyone, even private business sector. We still have farmers doing composting. We still have farmers who are able to do intercropping systems. And the good thing about research, I am happy that researchers have come on board to support, because most of the time farmers have been having the work is happening on the ground, but the research is far away from reality. But I'm happy that most of the researchers now are coming up, and I've read one of the study that was on nitrogen fixation, which showed we actually don't need some of these very difficult processes that we are having. And I want to reiterate that the transition is necessary, because soils are worse. In Kenya, we have 40% of the soils degraded. They are acidic. The soils in Kenya are very acidic. Actually, at some point, we say they are dead. And we have to rethink where we went wrong, because if we cannot continue digging a hole if we are already in a hole, because the soils are acidic, but the soil, we need just by diverse methods of soil, making the soil alive. We cannot continue to kill the soil. We cannot continue to kill the biodiversity. We cannot continue to worsen the climate change. So let us be part of this solution. And we are very excited when we see these discussions coming up and farmers being at the center of the discussions that we are talking about.
And you know that she knows what she's talking about, because she had no time to plan for this panel, and she's speaking from the heart. Soil is alive. Farmers must be at the center. I'm feeling so many LinkedIn quotes here. And now I'm really excited to bring on Mohammed. I'm not sure if you met Daniela in Rome at the World Food Forum. Very cool. And I know you're not going to speak for all youth, but please tell us, what's the role of youth on this? How are the youth activating? What is your call? What's your ask to the rest of us as well? So over to you. Please introduce yourself.
All right. I hope you can hear me, guys. This is Mohammed Reitari. I am part of the Yemeni delegation, a youth negotiator with the 3 Rio Conventions. And also I'm part of the World Food Forum, the Youth Policy Board member in the Near East and North Africa region. So regarding soil, we all know that agriculture has negative, most of the people, they believe that it has negative contribution to the crisis of the climate change, biodiversity loss and land degradation. However, if we start to assist and to adapt, also to innovate, so we can reach to our approach. I believe that we can find the solution for the crisis of climate change. So let me talk closely regarding the Arab region. Just to make sure that you know that more than 46 million hectares are agriculture landmarks are at risk. If we don't have, or if we don't do an action, we are going to lose it. We cannot, we are going to lose it. Also, let me talk more about Yemen as a case study. There is a tree called gat, or I think in some of African countries they call it mira. Yeah, it's considered like a huge impact for the economic. Lots of people are living by it, but the usage in Yemen is a little bit different of other countries. People, the lack of awareness, Nobody is advocating for this issue. They don't know how to grow it well. So they are using like the wrong fertilizers, and it's still impacting the soil. What happened with advocacy and with like sharing knowledge, empowering youth? There are like lots of initiatives and cooperatives started to appear there in the region, and I mean in Yemen, which call to stop growing gat and to start also to growing coffee. You know that coffee is one, like Yemeni coffee is one of the best coffees in the world. So lots of, yeah. But during the lack of awareness and there is no advocacy for that thing, it's still affecting the soil. Let me just move a little bit to the World Food Forum and what we are doing. Last month in Italy, you know that the World Food Forum considered the largest youth-led consultative platform. We worked with the 3 convention youth, with the UNCCD, with the GYPN, and also with the, with the Younger. So there in Italy, we gathered all experts from FAO, also the secretariats of the 3 conventions, the Rio Conventions, and also the youth assemblies with the circle of the 3 conventions. What happened there is we're trying to raise the capacity building. We're trying to empower young people and to share what are the things that we can do for the agriculture and agri-food systems in general. What we are going to make sure that, and what we are looking for, is to contributing these discussions through 2026 the Rio Conventions conferences, that all of us are committed with all the youth in the world, just to ensure that soil health is a priority for the youth and also for the youth assembly in general. And we are looking forward to working with organizations, including the Soil Health Coalition and Youth for Soil on this journey.
Woo, awesome.
Thank you.
I love it. And since you are a negotiator, how can we get soil health in the final declaration of this COP? It's very simple. It's 2 words. Let's make sure we do everything we can to get it in there.
I know that, but as a youth negotiator, I just want to tell you that there is a lack of involvement like youth in negotiating, but with all the like the ideas, with all the agreements, with all the people, if they are just working in one hand to call for soil health, it's like negotiations is not only about one country or about like a group of people. It needs all the people to move. It needs like a collaborative action. So we all need to get involved in it. And all the, like, I believe that raising the awareness and advocating to reach to the government policies and this thing is one of the most important thing that we can do as organizations and like and the communities in general.
Thank you so much. And I hope we have an open invitation to visit Yemen.
Well, I hope so, and you should, guys, visit Sugatra.
And try this
Sugatra
coffee.
Island is the best.
This is awesome. So I want to do the same thing. I hope you already thought of your word since you saw the other panel. So I just want, again, a verbal word cloud. So, okay, we will start with Mohammed.
All right. So, one word, future.
Interconnectedness.
And nature.
Excellent, thank you. Before you go, someone take this. We're gonna have closing remarks from Andrea Porro because we've changed things. But I would like to just hear some voices from the audience. A comment, a challenge, a suggestion, a question, and I'm not moving on till I hear some voices. So who's gonna be the first one to talk? And just note, you have to come up here because this is a corded microphone. It has very limited walking space. I hope I don't have to call on Sarah and someone will save her.
Thank you. Our suggestion is to thank us. Our suggestion is to strengthen the policies and the frameworks to protect our soil.
Yes. And coming from government, you can do that.
Yeah.
All right, who's next? I want to hear 3 voices. Don't look away from me. Kelvin? I can't walk with that. So I will invite you. You can tell I need roving mics.
Hello, everyone. Jeremiah Rogito is my name. I work with the soil values based at Agra. Now, I just want to echo whatever they have said, and I agree entirely with what their thoughts and reflections that we need to have a really coordinated options. Did you call me to say one word?
No. You can say one word.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I think in terms of one word, I'll pick partnerships, really working together to actually advance soil health. Thanks.
Well done. Well done. You see, he's like basically a new panelist. One more voice. Who else? Who? I know. Come on.
Can I change mine?
Yeah. You want to say one word? Oh, yes. All right. She saved you. We got 3 voices. Go ahead.
You want one word only?
Sure.
Yeah, I think soil health is also linked to resilience of communities. So without that, I don't think they can be resilient and they can stay in their areas of origin.
You just made Perrine very happy because that's the name of her program. So thank you so much. I want to thank the panel. Let's thank our panel as they make their way back. And we're so fortunate because I know all of you think you're very busy. I also think I'm very busy, but this guy is very, very busy, and he has made time to provide closing remarks for our session. I'm actually very honored. I'm grateful. I will buy beers for as long as anyone needs. Andrea, please provide closing remarks. I don't know where you want to stand. Yeah? Does this work? Andrea, does this one work? All right, it might work. He turned it on.
1, 2, 3. Whoa, perfect. So, good afternoon, everyone. It's a real honor to be here with you today and given the opportunity to conclude this super interesting double-fold panel. And I want to start from there. So we hear from policy to action on the ground, and we hear fantastic experience. And we are from countries that have a special place in my heart. The colleague from the Burkinabe colleague from Burkina Faso. I work there in Farakoba with female farmers in red rice production, very important to the Burkinabe culture. I've been to Afghanistan where I work closely with NRC on soil and refugee. I've been to Kenya where I work with Masai, Samburu and Pokot on the stocking of livestock. Sorry, I don't want to bring you down to a memory lane of myself, but speaks a lot what I hear today on my own experience in the agricultural and food system. I'm an agronomist by training and at heart. And I spent most of my career working with NGO and international organizations with farmers and for them. Feet on the ground in the several countries that are facing today, like they did in my early career, tremendous challenge, exacerbated by the triple planetary crisis, which we are trying with the Rio Convention, plus the 2 that have been added today as co-supports of the Food System Summit and the World Food Forum to tackle. But one of the reasons, perhaps the main reason, why after so many years, almost, let's say 20, but who count, I decided to take up the challenge and moving from the ground to a leading advocacy-focused organization such as WFO, which I'm representing, the World Farmer Organization, is linked to the question that you ask. Too many times I found myself sitting in meetings discussing about policy and programs aimed at improving farmers' life, and you replace farmers with community, you can replace farmers with indigenous people without them around the table, without women, without youth, without the community leader. I will speak about farmers because I'm much more close to my experience and won't put my words in other people's mouths and advocacy. But the transformation of perception of farmers is what is at heart of our work, of my work. We want to change the perception from beneficiaries to equal partner in the design of project and initiative. And that is very hard also as myself. I'm almost 2 years in my tenure, and I felt that our work is starting to pay off. In September, in the Standing Committee of Finance Forum in Rome, gave for the first time the opportunity for farmers, agricultural negotiation and finance negotiator to sit side by side in discussion about unlocking finance and investment in our sector. We are not there yet, but they are good signs. These are the signs that we want to see. The COP29, the COP30 presidency released the Baku to Belém roadmap, which emphasized the need for active engagement of farmers to their organization and cooperatives to scale up provision of climate finance to agriculture in developing countries. Another stepping stone, which we hope that will be the same also for communities, local authorities, indigenous people. Working towards a conclusion. It is worth pausing on the mention of organization and cooperatives, so that means of this partnership being together, so not being alone in a negotiation space. And this goes to the heart of your question, of our question today. The most common explanation of lack of investment in agriculture and the lack of involvement of farmers in decision-making is their fragmentation and limited capacity to engage in technical issues. This should be an excuse to leaving them out of the process. It should be an incentive to investing more, much more on the mechanism for aggregation and representation. This is especially important given the broader role of farmers' organization, not just as a channel to ensure farmer interests and needs as well represented vis-à-vis with the government, but also a value chain actor. They deliver training, as we hear today, the much needed extension service and training to farmers, community, their level of women farmer, young farmer. Very important also for the generation renewal. Lastly, they are a means to ensure finance, knowledge and market opportunity to reach each and every farmer on the ground. So we are asking government at local level, negotiator, to involve farmers, to involve their organization, to involve communities and their representation, to involve indigenous people and their representation. Because that's how you build that partnership, that consensus base, that multilateralism that today is so much under siege. We are all here at the bottom of art because we believe that the multilateral process is what listened the grassroots organization voice, brought it up to international process. I hear so many fantastic keywords for your work, Cloud, so I don't know which one I will love the most. All of them are equally important, so I will not give you mine, but with mine I will reinforce all of you that are here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrea. And I would like to do two things. I hope you can hear me. I would like to thank this Andrea, who's been doing the technical support. And I would like to thank all of you. So let's give ourselves a round of applause. And honestly, let's make sure that soil health is recognized as a climate solution. Let's do a better job of communicating. Let's pretend we're youth, right? Or Andrea, because excellent communicators. And I would like to welcome all the panelists up here to take a photo. Thank you so much, everyone.